the importance of a two-parent household is very, very real. Because especially in this, day and age where everyone and people are working, people barely have time for their children. Either mom or dad or working, or and you know and other people are perhaps raising your children, other people are raising your kids, or put them in sort of it's not, it's not authentic, it's not genuine. Parents need their children, and in the absence of parents, it's very, it has a negative toll on the children in regards to home training, in regards to support, emotional, spiritual, financial support. And it gets very hard. I can imagine it gets very hard for them not having someone to support them in every move, every stride in life that they take. I mean, especially from my experience, after losing my mother, things became hard. Things became very hard. Not having anyone to support me, anyone, not having anyone to push me, not having anyone to speak about matters to, personal matters to. Of course, family are there, but they're all busy. They're all busy taking care of their children, and they got their own issues to address. So, but now and then they check up on me, and I'm thankful for that. But overall, they have their own lives and worries and their own children to attend to. So it would be selfish of me to expect them to come and pay attention to me when they have children. Because if I was in their situation, I'd perhaps do the same. Prioritize my kids first. And so, which touches on the subjects of the lack of a two-parent household and how difficult it is for a kid or young adults to thrive. I attended uni for a bit, you know, and I remember each day I'd get up and overall it wasn't for me. Overall, it wasn't for me. Like reference in reference to university, it wasn't for me overall. I remember each day I'd get up to, go to class, go to seminars, and you know, when I would come back, there'd be no one to share how I felt, or there'd be no one to share my thoughts on the subject or the class. There'd be no one to talk with. When I got back, or there'd be no one to say have a good day, or there'd be no one to say have you done your coursework. Ask me. These little things, they motivate, they push you. And in the absence of a sort of father figure or mother figure, you know you somewhat have to figure it out on your own. And so it becomes, and it's one doesn't always figure it out on their own, if one doesn't have that support, love, guidance. So it becomes very hard, it becomes extremely difficult for an individual or young adults without the guidance of a parents to actually push themselves and succeed in life. Yeah, it's really, it's a interesting topic. In contrast to those who actually have love, support, guidance, it through my observation, like they do much better off. Because they have people pushing them, they have their parents pushing them, motivating them. you know Perhaps I haven't, I'm still in the process of learning how to drive, for instance. If I had a father figure, or perhaps I would know how to drive, by now. you know and it's a life skill in learning how to drive, or in completing uni, or in doing things that that prove that you're successful in life. So in the absence of a two-parent household, that becomes very hard. You sort of have to figure it out on your own. you know so I envy those who have two parents. I'm like, it's because it keeps the family unit together. It keeps the children thriving together. I think the stats are kids do better in a two-parent household. Kids are more likely to do better in a two-parent household. So two-parent household, I advocate for that. And it's just because it's hard on the children who need to succeed. you know so yeah, that's just my thing. A two-parent household is needed, and it's very much important in making children thrive and succeed. Because in contrast to the single parent household or no parent household whatsoever, you know they usually end up either in prison or committing crimes or doing drugs, and it's just not the best. It's not the best, but one can say that they didn't have guidance, they didn't have support, love. you know so it's very important that the family unit is together. you know so yeah, that's just what are your thoughts? What do you think? Are two-parent household important, or are they not? Put it down below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and I will see you next time.